In a world that values material possessions and instant gratification above all else, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters: our health, happiness, and connection to the world around us. But fear not, for there is a way out of this endless cycle of consumption and dissatisfaction. It's called frugal living, and it's more relevant than ever in the year 2023. In this video, we'll explore the benefits of frugal living and the dangers of consumerism. So buckle up and join me on this journey towards a more intentional, fulfilling, and sustainable way of living. Chapter 1. What is frugal living? Frugal living is a lifestyle that embraces simplicity, resourcefulness, and mindfulness. It's not just about saving money, although that's certainly a big part of it. It's about cultivating a mindset of abundance, gratitude, and creativity, and using our resources in a way that aligns with our values and goals. Frugal living is not about deprivation or sacrifice, but rather about finding joy in the things that matter most and letting go of the things that don't. It's about learning to distinguish between needs and wants, and finding ways to satisfy our needs in a way that doesn't harm ourselves, others, or the planet. Frugal living is a way of life that honors our inherent dignity and worth and recognizes that true wealth comes from within, not from external possessions. Whether you're a student, a parent, a retiree, or anyone in between, frugal living can offer you a path towards greater freedom, creativity, and fulfillment. So why not give it a try? Embrace the power of frugality and see where it takes you. Chapter 2. What is consumerism? Consumerism is a cultural phenomenon that worships material possessions, instant gratification, and superficiality. It's not just about buying things, although that's certainly a big part of it. It's about the constant pressure to consume, upgrade, and keep up with the latest trends, regardless of our actual needs or desires. Consumerism is a way of life that glorifies greed, envy, and insecurity, and seeks to fill the voids of our soul with fleeting pleasures, and seeks to fill the voids of our soul with fleeting pleasures and status symbols. It's a seductive trap that promises happiness and fulfillment, but delivers only anxiety, debt, and discontent. Consumerism is a force that shapes our values, our identities, and our relationships, and injustices of our society. It's a system that thrives on waste, exploitation, and destruction, and sacrifices the well-being of people and planet for the sake of profit and growth. Whether we realize it or not, consumerism affects every aspect of our lives, from the products we buy to the way we see ourselves and others. But there is a way out of this destructive cycle. By understanding the harms of consumerism and embracing the alternatives of frugality, mindfulness, and community, we can break free from the chains of consumption and reclaim our power and agency as human beings. Chapter 3. Why less is more in summer 2023. We'll get to that in a second. I have a favor to ask of you. If you like this video so far, please subscribe to the channel. Less is more in summer 2023 because we live in a world that's facing unprecedented challenges and opportunities, from climate change to social inequality, from technological disruption to geological disruption to geopolitical instability. The issues that we're grappling with are complex, urgent, and interconnected. And yet, the dominant culture of consumerism tells us that the solution to all our problems is to consume more, grow more, and waste more. But this approach is not sustainable, nor is it desirable. We can't keep exploiting and destroying our natural and social systems without consequences. We can't keep chasing after material possessions and status symbols without sacrificing our well-being and happiness. We can't keep ignoring the needs and aspirations of the majority of people and creatures on this planet without creating more conflicts and crises. We need a different paradigm, a different story, a different way of living. And that's where the philosophy of less comes in. By embracing the power of less, we can discover a world of abundance, creativity, and joy that's hidden beneath the illusions of consumerism. We can learn to live with less, waste less, and want less. And in doing so, we can free ourselves from the burden of excess and the tyranny of comparison. We can reclaim our time, our energy, and our attention, and redirect them towards the things that truly matter to us, whether it's our health, our relationships, our passions, or our purpose. We can build a society that's based on cooperation, compassion, and sustainability, and that values the well-being of all beings, not just the few. We can create a future that's worth living, not just for ourselves, but for generations to come. So, let's embrace the power of less and discover the beauty of simplicity. Chapter 4. Tips for Living Frugally. Living frugally doesn't mean living miserably or depriving ourselves of joy and comfort. On the contrary, frugality can be a source of liberation, creativity, and satisfaction. By living within our means, we can reduce our stress, our debt, and our waste, and increase our resilience, our creativity, and our freedom, But how do we actually do that? Here are some tips for living frugally in 2023. Define your values and priorities. Frugality is not a one-size-fits-all approach. It's important to know what matters most to you and align your spending and saving habits accordingly. What are your goals, your passions, your values? What brings you the most happiness and fulfillment? Once you have a clear sense of your priorities, you can make conscious and intentional choices that reflect them. Practice mindfulness and gratitude. Frugality is not just about spending less, but also about appreciating more. By practicing mindfulness and gratitude, we can cultivate a sense of abundance and contentment that's independent of material possessions. We can savor the simple pleasures of life, such as a good meal, a warm hug, a beautiful sunset, or a meaningful conversation. We can also avoid the pitfalls of consumerism, such as impulse buying, status seeking, and comparison. Reduce your fixed costs. Fixed costs, such as rent, utilities, and transportation, are often the biggest drain on our budget. By finding ways to reduce them, we can free up more money for the things that matter to us. For example, we can live in a smaller or cheaper home, switch to a more efficient or eco-friendly vehicle, or negotiate better deals with our providers. Embrace the sharing economy. The sharing economy, which includes services like Airbnb, Uber, and TaskRabbit, can be a great way to save money and connect with others. By sharing our resources and skills, we can reduce our expenses, our carbon footprint, and our loneliness. We can also support local businesses and communities and learn new things from people who are different from us. Learn new skills and DIY. Frugality is not just about consuming less, but also about creating more. By learning new skills and doing things ourselves, we can save money, express our creativity, and gain a sense of empowerment. We can learn how to cook, sew, repair, garden, or build, and share our knowledge with others. We can also reduce our waste and our impact on the environment by repurposing, upcycling, and recycling. Chapter 5. The Psychology of Consumerism. Understanding the psychology of consumerism can help us become more aware and critical of its effects on our well-being and the world around us. Here are some key insights into the psychology of consumerism. The need for social belonging. One of the main drivers of consumerism is the need for social belonging and status. We often use material possessions as symbols of our identity, values, and social status and compare ourselves to others based on them. This can lead to a vicious cycle of consumption, debt, and anxiety as we try to keep up with the latest trends and impress others. The power of emotions. Another key factor in consumerism is the power of emotions. Advertisements and media often appeal to our emotions, such as fear, desire, guilt, or happiness, to influence our decision-making and behavior. They create a sense of urgency, scarcity, or exclusivity, and offer us quick fixes and instant gratification. This can override our rational thinking and lead to impulsive or irrational choices. The bias of present bias. Consumerism also exploits our bias of present bias, which means we tend to prioritize short-term gains over long-term consequences. We often choose immediate pleasures or conveniences, such as fast food, disposable goods, or cheap products, even if they have negative impacts on our health, environment, or economy. This can lead to a myopic and unsustainable way of life as we neglect the future costs and benefits of our actions. The illusion of choice. Finally, consumerism creates an illusion of choice by offering us seemingly endless options and variations, but concealing the limited range of actual alternatives. This can make us feel empowered and in control, but also overwhelmed and confused. It can also hide the true costs and values of products and services, such as their social or environmental impacts, or the labor and resources involved in their production. Chapter 6. The Future of Frugal Living. As we enter a new era of uncertainty, volatility, and complexity, frugal living is becoming more than just a choice or a trend, but a necessity and a vision. It offers us a way to cope with the challenges and opportunities of the future and to create a more resilient, equitable, and meaningful world. Here are some key aspects of the future of frugal living. The rise of minimalism. Frugal living is closely related to minimalism, which emphasizes the value of simplicity, mindfulness, and purposeful living. Minimalism is not just about reducing clutter and waste, but also about redefining our priorities and values and focusing on what truly matters to us. As we face an increasingly complex and overwhelming world, minimalism can help us find clarity, peace, and fulfillment. The role of technology. Technology can be both a blessing and a curse for frugal living. On one hand, it can facilitate access to information, resources, and networks that enable us to live more efficiently, creatively, and collaboratively. On the other hand, it can also fuel the culture of consumerism, distraction, and addiction, and create new forms of inequality and exploitation. The future of frugal living will depend on how we use and regulate technology and how we balance its benefits and risks. The importance of community. Frugal living is not just an individual pursuit, but also a collective endeavor. It requires us to build and sustain communities of trust, cooperation, and solidarity that support and inspire us to live more frugally and sustainably. Community can also provide us with a sense of belonging, purpose, and resilience that enhance our well-being and creativity. As we face global challenges such as climate change, inequality, and pandemics, community will become even more crucial for our survival and flourishing. The potential of innovation. Frugal living is not just about limiting ourselves or sacrificing our quality of life, but also about unleashing our creativity and innovation. It challenges us to find new and better ways of meeting our needs and desires that are affordable, ethical, and satisfying. Frugal living can inspire us to develop new technologies, business models, and social systems that are more efficient, sustainable, and inclusive. As we face urgent and complex problems such as poverty, climate change, and social injustice, frugal living can provide us with a framework and a mindset that enable us to solve them in a holistic and transformative way. While consumerism might offer temporary gratification, it can come at a heavy cost to our planet and our well-being. On the other hand, living frugally can not only help us save money, but also encourage us to live more sustainably and mindfully. So let's strive to make conscious decisions that prioritize our long-term goals over short-term impulses. Let's embrace the joy and fulfillment that comes from living simply, while also being mindful of our impact on the world around us. By doing so, we can create a brighter, more sustainable future for ourselves and for generations to come.